To stay on the subject of people that you say you really love, there is a new biography out or coming out about your father, and he, first of all, he says that you tried to take Dan Quayle off the ticket in 1988. Is that true?
That's what Miller told me. I don't remember that. In fact, I'm a huge Dan Quayle fan to this day. I consider him a friend, and I don't recall that being true at all.
You didn't have any other ideas about who might be a better vice president for your dad in 1988?
I don't recall this a long time ago, but I don't remember that. If my dad said it's true, geez, I guess it's probably since he's about as perfect as I can imagine.
He is the greatest man alive, as you say.
He is. So that puts me in deep conflict here, but I don't remember that.
I want to also ask you about some of the things he had to say about your brother's administration. Yeah. He's quoted in the book as talking about particularly Dick Cheney and Donald Rumsfeld, and saying that they may have pushed your brother into places that he didn't necessarily think were the best. He also said your brother's rhetoric was potentially at times overheated and created problems, citing the axis of evil in particular. What's your view of how Dick Cheney and Donald Rumsfeld affected your brother's presidential administration?
My brother's a big boy. His administration was shaped by his thinking, his reaction to the attack on 9/11. I think my dad, like a lot of people that love George, wanted to try to create a different narrative, perhaps, just because that's natural to do, right? But George would say, this was under my watch. I was commander-in-chief. I was the leader, and I accept personal responsibility for what happened, both the good and the bad. And I think that's the right way to look at it. As it relates to Dick Cheney, he served my brother well as vice president, and he served my dad extraordinarily well as Secretary of Defense. The context changes. We got to get beyond, I think, this feeling that somehow that 1991 is the same as 2001, right, which is the same as 2017. It isn't. The world has changed. It always changes, and the context changes as it relates to foreign policy and everything else. So, looking forward, I think there are lessons to be learned from both those presidencies and the presidencies of Ronald Reagan and Bill Clinton.
Were you in a kitchen cabinet for your brother?